please, don't try anything that you're about to see us do at home.
Ever.
On this episode of MythBusters, the whole team is flying high in an airplane special.
Oh, I don't think I did so well.
First, Adam and Jamie fly by the seat of their pants.
Yeah, shut up.
In a state-of-the-art simulator to see if a novice pilot can be talked down by air traffic control.
Or your nose doesn't give it power.
Oh my gosh, coming in really fast.
Then, Carrie, Tori, and Grant get gnarly with 3 skydiving movie myths from action flick Point Break.
Adios, amigos! Oh, shucks!
Buster gets the push to find out the free fall time from 4,000 feet.
Oh my God!
Grant discovers if you can have a conversation in midair.
so excited.
And Tori lays his life on the line in a high-speed chase at terminal velocity to see if it's possible to catch someone up in free fall.
Dude, that was incredible!
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage.
That was awesome!
And Jamie Heineman.
Much.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
Rise, my son.
Joining them, Grant Imahara.
Warning!
Tori Belleci.
It's getting dangerous now, and that's how we like it.
And Carrie Byron.
That is messed up!
They don't just tell the myths.
Wow, I can feel the pressure.
They put them to the test.
Come on, we need to come up with something. What do we have?
I got nothing.
Some idea.
Parachutes. Misconceptions about skydiving. There are a bunch of Hollywood movies that feature skydiving.
Skydiving's good. Skydiving, airplanes.
How about when the pilot's incapacitated and they talk a passenger into landing the plane?
Perfect. That's really good.
An entire episode about airplanes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please buckle up for an airplane special. The MythBusters are no strangers to aviation myths.
I want lift off this time.
They've made mincemeat of an airplane.
Yeah!
They fired chicken meat at an airplane. And they've even used an airplane to make a bus take to the sky. But now, they're back with 2 brand new flights of fantasy straight from the fan site. And starting off, it's an all-time classic.
So in all your eclectic careers, you've never gone out and gotten a pilot's license?
Nope, thought about it, never did it.
Not even any illegal crop dusting?
Mm-mm.
Neither have I. And you know, that makes you and I perfect testbed platforms for this next myth.
You mean talked into landing?
Yes, let me set the scene for you. You have chosen the kosher meal and have eaten it just fine, but the pilot and co-pilot have accidentally been fed the salmon mousse. Stricken with food poisoning, they can no longer fly the plane, and the stewardess says, "Is there anyone here who will land this plane?" And you get behind the seat, get on the horn to air traffic control, and they give you the instructions to land that plane safely.
So you're a completely inexperienced pilot, but they talk you down into a safe landing.
That's the myth. That's what we've got to test.
The life of everyone on board depends upon just one thing. Finding someone back there who can not only fly this plane, but who didn't have fish for dinner.
It's a classic scene from the silver screen. The pilot and co-pilot are out of action, and the flight attendant asks the question no one wants to hear.
By the way, is there anyone on board who knows how to fly a plane?
Can a complete novice really land an airplane?
You know, Adam, I don't think our insurance company or the FAA is going to give us any kind of permission to attempt to land a real plane.
Nope, I think we're going to have to do this one in a simulator of some kind. And luckily, the researchers have turned up the creme de la creme of flight simulators for us. It's NASA's, and they use it to train real pilots.
Okay, and before we get talked down by the air traffic controller, I think we should try it au naturel, you know, without any help at all, and see how we do.
Because if we can do that, then there's no need for air traffic control.
Exactly.
So it's chalks away. And first up, we meet the man with the machine, Terry Rager.
Welcome aboard.
And after a brief tour, what's immediately clear is this simulator ain't exactly your average game console.
Wow, those are the size of a small house.
That's amazing.
All you're going to find is pretty realistic once you get inside.
With pneumatics to simulate every bump, more buttons than a Wurlitzer organ, and a state-of-the-art graphics display, this simulator is the real deal.
Ready?
And first into the hot seat is Jamie.
You go first. Here is the plan.
We're going to try landing this flight simulator on our own without any assistance because, well, if we can, there's no need for a test. They've concocted for each of us a flight scenario that we'll open when we're ready to fly. That'll tell us the critical details about our flight. Jamie's going to go first. And who knows, maybe he's going to turn out to be a great pilot. I wouldn't be that surprised.
Okay, so I've left Chicago. I'm on my way to Denver. I'm on a large commercial airliner with 160 passengers, and I'm at 15,000 feet. Good luck. It's up to you to land the plane and save the lives of the passengers without any help. Okay, well, I guess I better get to it.
It's worth remembering, despite the aviator mustache, Jamie has absolutely no experience piloting a plane. And to make a tough task tougher, Terry has programmed a night flight. So Jamie will be, quite literally, flying in the Twilight Zone.
I have a basic understanding of how airplanes work, which I think should be helpful. But the rest of it, this is all alien to me. I'd say this is going to be a little bit of a rough landing.
The simulator cockpit, modeled on a generic passenger plane, has real instrumentation and flight controls. And state-of-the-art computers control the actuators that respond physically to the pilot's handling.
Let's just start to play with the controls a little bit.
And it's clear from the get-go that Jamie is hopelessly out of his depth.
I need to find my speed. Why can't I find my speed?
With alarms, sirens, and verbal warnings going off, Jamie's struggling. He's going too fast. And with his roller coaster steering style, he's breaking every FAA regulation in the book.
He just rolled out of a 45-degree bank, which normally 30 degrees is the maximum an air carrier would do.
Jamie's unorthodox approach has found Denver Airport, but he's not in great shape.
He's just too high and too fast. It's not a good combination.
The recommended landing speed for a plane of this size is about 140 knots, but Jamie's screaming in at over 300.
Maximum airspeed exceeded.
Yeah, shut up.
All in all, it's not going well, and even the simulator is starting to panic.
Why is it telling me not to think?
On his final approach, Maverick Jamie can't help but try something straight from Top Gun.
I'm gonna buzz the tower.
Whee! Despite looking everywhere, he can't find the button that lowers the landing gear. Without wheels, this really is going to be a rough landing. Jamie hits the deck, putting the terror into terra firma. A crunching, shuddering skid ends in disaster. Lucky it's just a simulator. Please exit only by the front doors.
Unfortunately, I died, and all of my passengers and crew died along with me.
He was too high, too fast most of the time. He was using gas at quite a rate and never found the landing gear lever, so he was kind of really at odds with the aircraft.
So landing a passenger jet without experience or help is nigh on impossible, unless Adam can prove otherwise.
The hours of flight time I have total in simulators and real planes, 0.
Still to come, Tori flies like a bird, but will he sing like a canary? And we're on the flight deck with Adam and Jamie.
Well, you're known to give it power.
I'm coming in really fast.
To see if they can get talked into land.
Everything's in your hands now.
It's Airplane Hour on MythBusters. And next, a myth that's sure to get your adrenaline rushing.
Airplanes, so what do we got?
Okay, we got a triple bill of myths about what happens when you fall out of them.
All right, let's hear them.
Okay, there's a skydiving scene in the hit movie Point Break. And amazingly, all 3 myths come from the same scene.
3 myths in one scene, that has got to be a record.
So what are they?
All right, well, hold on to your hats, grab your popcorn, because it's time to point the finger at Point Break.
I know you want me so bad it's like ass in your mouth, but not this time.
It's movie magic at its best. In Hollywood heist movie Point Break,
Adios, amigos.
Patrick Swayze jumps out of an airplane, taking with him the last remaining chute. More than a little upset, Keanu Reeves has no option but to follow without a parachute. So now come the myths. Myth 1. By streamlining his body, Reeves catches up with Swayze in free fall, despite the 15-second head start. Myth 2. After they meet in midair, they have a full-on shouting match. And myth 3. The whole scene lasts over 90 seconds, even though the plane's original altitude was only 4,000 feet. Will these myths come crashing back to Earth?
All right, so what's the plan? Well, I reckon we should just get an airplane and go for it. First off, I want to test if it takes more than 90 seconds to fall only 4,000 feet like the movie.
Cool. You know, while we're at it, we should test to see if you can actually have a conversation while you're in free fall.
Yeah, we just jump out of the plane, see if we can hear each other. Awesome.
And when we have the answer to those two things, we'll come back to the shop, and then we can figure out how to tackle free fall catch-up.
All right, let's take to the skies.
So it's parachute pandemonium as the team gets ready to explore a trilogy of perilous point break myths. And like all Hollywood action movies, they're starting with a bang.
We've come to Skydance Skydiving in Northern California. Not only have they got 20 years of experience, but they've also got planes and they've got parachutes. So it's the perfect place for us to put these point break myths to the test.
And first up, it's the 4,000-foot drop test.
The first test that we're going to do, there's a scene in Point Break where Patrick Swayze jumps out of a plane at 4,000 feet, and he free falls for like 2 minutes. We're going to fly up to 4,000 feet, Carrie's going to push out the human simulate, and we're going to see how long it takes for the dummy to hit the ground.
Complete with smoke canister, the simulate will be easy to track as it falls from the sky. And doing the tracking will be Grant and Tori.
It's like we're storm chasers!
But Tori doesn't realize how right he is. When the guys arrive at the landing site, the weather is closed in.
I see them. They're circling. Where? They're right there. They just went behind the clouds. See right
okay. That's a bird, dude. Carrie, what's your altitude?
We're at 4,000 feet, ready to drop when you are.
All right, Carrie, we are all ready to go.
With the cloud cover lifted and the correct altitude reached, it's go time. And as the simulate is elegantly shown the door, Tori starts the stopwatch to time his fall.
Wait, there he is. Hold on. Yeah, look at him go.
Remember, the point break scene lasted over 90 seconds. How long will the simulate last? Ouch.
Oh my God! Dude, he got cut in half! Oh, wow. So that's what they look like inside.
His back totally split and his guts are all over the field.
Split in half and leaving a simulated Swayze-sized crater, that's one busted simulate. But is the first of the Point Break myths also busted?
So how long did it take?
That was 31 seconds. There's no way. In the movie, he's like a minute and a half, 2 minutes free fall. He would die. In the movie, he's free falling for a minute and a half, maybe more. There's no way he would have been able to free fall that long. He would have died. So this one's busted.
Just like our simulate!
It's strike one against Point Break. So bring on myth number 2, where the simulate is out and Grant is in.
It doesn't really fill me with a great sense of joy to see what could potentially happen if something went horribly, horribly wrong.
Up next,
Okay, I'm pulling up.
the seatbelt sign is on as rookie pilot Adam tries to land a plane without ground support. And then, Grant bails out to test the hearsay in a free fall myth. Thankfully, most times we fly, the hardest decision to make is whether to have fish or chicken. But if the journey took a turn for the worse, can a complete novice really take the hot seat and be talked into landing? So far, Jamie's tried a landing without any external help. And failed miserably. But what about Adam?
Okay, Adam, it's your turn.
Adam has an identical flight plan to Jamie. But let's hope the outcome is different. Like Jamie, Adam's hardly confident. And once he takes the controls, it's pretty clear why.
Oh, I'm actually flying. Oh, wow. But, I don't know what to do. Oh my God.
Adam has no idea what his altitude is. And with the airport some distance away, he flirts with a hard and premature landing.
Okay, I'm pulling up.
All right, I'm pulling up. I am.
With the passengers now using their sick bags, Adam's speed has dropped so low he's stalled. And that leaves only one outcome.
Oh, jeez. Okay, wait. Oh, I don't think I did so well. I crashed. I crashed in farmland about 10 miles outside of Denver. Rest in the knowledge that there's always a co-pilot. And that I'm not the likely first choice to help land the plane in an emergency.
What's clear from both tests is that with no help, crash landing a plane is pretty much the only outcome. But can an air traffic controller really cancel out the carnage?
Oh, I don't think I did so well. You know, I was so disappointed with my first attempt at landing without any help that they actually let me try it again. To see my second attempt, log on to discovery.com/MythBusters.
The guys are testing 3 skydiving myths from the action movie Point Break. And so far, the simulate has shown that free falling for a minute and a half from an altitude of 4,000 feet is busted. With myth number 1 down for the count, it's on to the next part of the trilogy.
Adios, amigos! Oh, shucks!
Myth number 2 is about what you can hear during free fall.
You are crazy!
Is it really possible to have a conversation? Or is that another load of Hollywood hot air?
What the hell are you two doing?
We're doing Point Break myths.
Okay.
On Keanu Reeves. I'm Patrick Swayze. Can't you tell? Get back here. Swayze needs his hair. You know, with our first experiment, we pretty much busted the whole Point Break skydiving scene. I mean, you wouldn't have much time to do anything from 4,000 feet. So we're going to take that out of the equation. We're going to go up higher, and we're going to try to bust or confirm the myth that you can hold a conversation while you're free falling.
And having just seen what happens when things go wrong, Grant is understandably nervous.
I've been bungee jumping before, and that was probably one of the most terrifying moments of my life. I have a feeling this will probably be a new high in terrifying moments in my life.
Of course, because skydiving is so terrifying, Grant will be making a tandem jump, securely attached to an instructor. And while Grant's expression says it all, Carrie and Tori, along with the skydiving specialist Stan, are figuring out the plan.
So we're going to give you something to say. You're going to get up close to Grant, tell him that, and then when he lands, we're going to see if he heard what you said.
So this is what we came up with. Grant, if you pull my finger, you will hear a tuba.
Grant, if you pull my finger, you will hear a tuba.
Interesting.
What are we, like 10? Are you ready?
Grant takes off to test the second Point Break myth.
All the things that we do, if something goes wrong, you may get hurt, you may get a broken bone. But this one, if something goes wrong, you're pretty much dead. That weighs heavy on a person's mind.
And the mind that's getting heavy belongs to Grant.
I'm sorry to say I'm a little nervous. Just a little.
But it's too late to back out now.
Why the door's open? Okay.
And it's a short countdown to find out if you can hold a conversation during a skydive freefall. And Grant's out. Attached to his buddy, he plummets towards the earth. Almost immediately, skydiver Dan approaches with a message from Tori and Carrie. With the wind at a deafening volume, Dan shouts the tuba phrase as loud as he can and repeats it over and over until Grant's parachute is pulled. Once he slows down, you can hear his screams from miles away.
Land like you know what you're doing.
All right.
Nice! You did it! I'm alive! I'm alive!
Grant may be alive, but was the mid-air conversation music to his ears? Or was Grant brassed off that he couldn't hear a thing?
Did you hear what he said?
I couldn't hear anything. All I heard...
Are you at all curious what the phrase was?
Absolutely. What was it?
If you pull my finger, you will hear a tuba.
She came up with that one.
That was amazing. I mean, we're up there and the wind is rushing past me and Stan came in. He's right in my face and he's saying blah, 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 blah. But I could not hear anything. All I could hear was... Can you have a conversation in free fall? Absolutely not.
Keep your wings level if you can.
After the break, will Jamie touch down on the tarmac when he's talked into land?
I'm not directly in line with it.
And is action flick Point Break full of hot air? Flying a plane requires hundreds of hours of training. And on this airplane hour of MythBusters, it's clear to see that every single minute of that time is well spent. Because Adam and Jamie have just shown that newbie pilots don't exactly pass with flying colors.
Oh, I don't think I did so well.
Now it's time to see if we can be talked down by an air traffic controller. So Terry is going to be that person, and he's going to try and talk us down using only the information that an air traffic controller would have access to, as well as feedback from us via the radio. We'll see what happens.
While you were busy buzzing the tower, I was turning up some pretty interesting facts about this myth.
Which was?
Well, it's never happened.
What's never happened?
No passenger has ever been talked into landing by air traffic control on a commercial airliner. There's simply never been a case where both the pilot and the co-pilot have been removed from the equation.
Well, I guess this is another case of things happening in the movies that don't happen in real life.
It's not going to stop us from going for it, though.
So Jamie's just about to go in and get talked into landing, and get this, even though he's been flying since he was 16, Terry has never talked anyone into landing. It is not part of any pilot's training. So this is a first for everybody involved.
Jamie once more mans the hot seat. To make conditions different from Test 1, Terry's added a significant tailwind and some turbulence to boot. So now it's down to him and Jamie. And first up is a little Cockpit 101.
Screen straight ahead that has the blue and the brown on it. That is your primary flight display.
Terry carefully explains to Jamie exactly what all the buttons and numbers mean.
See, that says landing gear. I was looking for that earlier.
Okay.
And with that nailed, it's time to put the myth to the test.
I'm at 5,760.
Oh, pull your nose up and give it power. Give power. Climb back up to 7,000 feet.
Remember, Terry can't see any of the instruments in Jamie's simulator or the graphic flight path. And the stress of flying blind, coupled with that near miss, is starting to show.
Okay, what's your pitch out attitude? Where's the square in relationship to any of those marks?
I'm at 5 degrees over.
Very good.
Finally, Terry gets an eyeball on the incoming jet, and they begin the all-important landing sequence.
Okay, does it look like you're going to make the runway?
I'm not directly in line with it.
Well, try to get to it if you can. Everything's in your hands now. I can't see anyone.
Roger.
At the last minute, despite Terry's best efforts, it's all down to Jamie.
I touched in.
And he nails it.
I'm stopped.
Congratulations, Shabby, you made it.
Remarkable. Jamie's ended up dead center on the runway. Plane, passengers, and crew are